Dr. Mwakaba.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Lovely to have you. And I'm a say, Womoshe from last year. Now, when we tell you, na say ICT no, Womoda su yela la sulala, then there's a problem.
And someone
like I was thinking, like, what are some of the common things that make people drag their feet, you know, before we even get into the communication, the common things that they makes them drag their feet.
Maybe procrastination. Maybe you know, someday syndrome. One day I'll take a step. So probably yes. So
and the time to is now.
And like the time right to is now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The communication, like I said, this I've tried. I'm trying to prioritize personal development.
Sure.
You know, especially this month, and I was looking at some videos on communication. But now confusing me kakra because now me say a Dawson. First of all, when we say communicating right, what are the elements of communicating right before we even come to some of the common mistakes?
Communication, Kasano, is something that is vital and we can't live without it. Every day we communicate.
Yeah.
And communication is transferring a message from a sender to a receiver.
Okay.
There is something on the mind on the sender that he wants to transmit to the receiver. And sometimes, what the sender intends to say is not what the receiver hears. And we need to understand the principles of communication. So if I'm communicating with you, I am the sender, you are the receiver.
Okay.
Me, the sender, must understand what we call coding process.
Coding process, okay.
And then the receiver must also understand decoding process.
Okay.
Coding and decoding.
Coding and decoding.
Wow.
The coding na make no. The way have packaged what I want you to understand. And the decoding is the way you also interpret what I am saying.
To understand
me. To understand the message.
All right.
So I can say something, and if you don't decode it well, there will be misunderstanding and chaos. And it is very sad, say, we have not learned how to communicate. And it's not we have misunderstanding and confusion. So the coding aspect of the sender and then the decoding aspect of the receiver is very critical in communication. Right. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is before we get to the common mistakes, we need to understand how to communicate and the various ways of communication.
Okay.
Effectiveness or the various ways we can communicate. We have verbal communication.
Okay.
Like where verbally we are communicating. We have non-verbal communication. The body language whilst we are communicating. If you are sitting down with a woman, chatting with a woman, and the woman picks her bag from a table and puts it on her lap, that is body language, non-verbal communication.
Wow.
She is trying to tell you that,
trust you.
or I have to go. My time is up for me to go. So we have verbal communication, non-verbal communication. Then we have listening. Now, listening in itself is part of communication.
It's a skill.
Yes, many people don't know how to listen.
Yes.
Okay? And then also we have written communication.
Okay.
Writing and sending of messages. So communication, in order for communication to be effective, I will say because I can assure you, say, I can whisper something to your ears.
And I receive it,
You receive
decode
it.
it very well,
Yes.
and understand it.
And then when you pass it on to Cassandra, it will change. And when Cassandra also passes it on to somebody else, it will change. So there is a need for us to understand the basics of communication, then upon which we will slap it with the mistakes that we make in communicating.
Doc, answer me about into the mistakes I hear when we communicate. And I want to ask a question around, you know, who is it, wanna, okay, the effectiveness of communication, no, upon who is it centered? Is it the sender? And I say, is it the receiver? Is it upon me to make sure, say, me receiver, no, ete near me kind and I say, explain to me.
Like it
One
goes
and I was say,
both ways.
yeah, upon
like,
who is the center of the understanding of the communication.
Well, I would say both ways.
All right.
However, the sender must ensure that the receiver is trying to get what he's saying. I normally, when I'm talking about communication to leaders, because one of the key things of leadership is communication. Every effective leader must be a good communicator. Okay? And because every leader will have a vision for an organization or a corporation, and you must be able to communicate the vision to your followers.
To your followers, okay.
So there is always a message on the mind of the sender that he wants the receiver to get. So the sender have to make sure that what actually he's thinking or deliberating about is the same thing that the receiver is receiving. So normally we say that, are we on the same page?
Or on the same level.
Or are we on the same level?
Am I reaching you?
Am I reaching you?
Yeah, am I getting through to you?
Yes.
All right.
So both the sender and the receiver
has a responsibility.
Okay.
And not Minister Cassandra, we're driving, right? And she said it looks like the youth, you know, information, right? I said the way our lifestyle is, the way we do things, and I said the patriarchs in the form couldn't communicate the word of God in the manner in which we are. And I said there was a lot of shouting. So we heard only shouting, and that is why our lives are like today. So when it comes to what are the major things that a sender should note before a message is sent?
One of the things is that you must be skillful in speaking. Number one, try to understand the level of understanding of the receiver. So for instance, if you are trying to break down something to a teenager, you can't be using complex terminologies. You should be able to have enough language or the lingo to be able to break what you are trying to communicate to your receiver. For instance, if I were to be interviewed excuse me to say, like in a village, and I go there and try to speak the Queen Elizabeth English, nobody's going to understand what I'm talking about. So I have to consider the level of understanding of the people I am communicating with. And many of the time, we assume. And it has been said that assumption is the lowest form of knowledge.
Wow. Assumption is the lowest form of knowledge. Never assume anything.
No.
So every one whoever is sending a message should understand the people are already or sending message you need to. Without that understanding, you cannot send the right message and it won't be received.
No, it won't be received.
Oh, okay. Wow. Interesting.
All right, Doc, let's now delve into mistakes. Common mistakes are here. I think, sir, right from the submission of what communication is and the element that should be in it, we've already picked up some of the niyama here because that's what we do. Yeah, kasa without make us say get it. Like I just assume. Just get it. But it could be say maybe my background it means something completely different. Into mistake, what are some of the common mistakes are here in communication?
Well, one of the major common mistakes here is we don't listen when we are communicating.
We don't listen.
We don't listen. When somebody is trying to pass a message to you, sometimes you'll be looking at the person and your mind is not even on what the person is saying. So many times when we are communicating, we think the receiver is listening. But many of the times, they are not listening.
Okay.
That is why, if you want to test if somebody is listening, ask the person, could you repeat to me what I just said?
Oh, yeah. Teachers do that often. Like,
I like that.
So many people do not listen at all.
Okay.
And it's a major common mistake. So if I'm talking to Alex or Cassandra, I have to listen and try to understand what they are saying. But in many cases, people don't listen. The second common mistake of communication is interrupting when somebody is speaking. So when somebody is speaking, instead of you trying to allow the person to land, we begin to interrupt. So a lot of interruption goes on. And the moment you interrupt, you swerve the person gets swerved from the main point the person is
flow of the conversation.
The flow of the conversation.
All right.
And we need to be very careful about that.
All right.
The next common mistake that we make is thinking we understand or we know what the person is saying.
Before
the person
lands.
So the moment you are talking to me and it's okay, once I was trying to so and so, I said yes.
Okay, so we are preempting.
We are preempting.
We like mini.
Because sometimes, somebody is trying to say something and you think that you know what the person is going to say, and you start responding. Meanwhile, that is not what the person is saying.
Wow, this is super amazing. Doc, in terms of communication, let's tie it to ICT.
Oh, but so you can say
no problem. With your team of of your friends is saying workers and also those that
because before we go on, this aspect, if you get it wrong as a business person, as married couples, you're always going to have a problem. This is a very serious. As a matter of fact, there are three things that are a problem in any relationship, especially marital relationship: money, sex, and communication. These three things are the major issues in relationship. So.
I like in relationships, it always says that there is not enough communication. We are not communicating well. So therefore, there is a breakdown in different structures in a marriage. All right. So let's come back to your institution.
But is this all the three?
No, I wanted to land with one. Maybe I have about 11 common mistakes. But let me land with the last one. Not understanding the tone, the time, and the place of communication.
Tone, time.
Next week, we will continue with that.
No problem.
Tone, time, and place.
Yes.
Yeah. So tying it with your friends at ICT, how do you communicate that information for people to really get up on the
Well, right now, what is happening is that the world is rapidly changing, and many people are refusing to change with the changing times that we are in. The future right now is ICT, and right now at Success in Professional Studies, we have made it so easy for everybody to be educated within the ICT sector. So right now, we run the free tuition ICT training programs, and we have broken it into 3 different levels. And these 3 different levels, when you complete, you have great markets for that. The first level is the Microsoft Office level, after which when you complete, you can become a data analyst. The data analyst globally, if you position yourself well, you'll be earning over $40,000 a year annually. Then the next level will become our web development, how to build website from scratch. Okay, and then also how to manage website. If you finish that one, you become a professional web developer. And also globally, you'll be earning so much money. And the last level is our graphic design level, where we teach you how to design logos and whatever, and I mean everything concerning graphics. And amazingly, the class is beginning this coming Monday. This coming Monday. This coming Monday, there is a class beginning.
Okay.
Now, the classes are from Monday to Wednesday evenings, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Only evenings, and then weekend, Thursday to Saturday, morning and evening. And there again also, our application form used to be 100 Ghana cedis, but for those that will want to be part of the program on Monday, you have to come to the campus this morning to pick up your application form for only 50 Ghana cedis.
Wow.
This morning and tomorrow. Okay, and we have two campuses. We have Kaswa and then North Kaneshi.
Yeah. Right.
So this is the North Kaneshi campus, and then Kaswa campus too. I believe the telephone number.
But Kaswa campus now, he North Kaneshi the end he say
yes, the North Kaneshi campus is very close to North Kodesh. Lighthouse Kodesh.
Yeah.
And then the Kaswa campus, we are on the Nyenyano Road, right at the Kaswa Old Market. So we don't have much space at all. So those that want to be part of the upcoming ICT training,
which is Monday,
Monday. So JHS students, SHS students, you are sitting at home. You don't have any profitable job. Believe you me, we have testimonies of previous students who, when they came through the training, they've started doing something or their own thing. So this is absolutely tuition free. What we are going to be teaching you, if you go to some other universities, you are going to pay over 22,000 Ghana cedis on tuition. But for Success Institute, we say absolutely tuition free.
Wow.
You don't have to pay for that.
Wow. So this is the opportunity we're giving you to start your year right. Very, very important. I'm going to fix myself into one of those, because to be able to design, your own website. Now, that is amazing. Baby, it is what you need to be able to stand out. Number in the screen, so 026 220 1248. 0262 201 248. And that's a 055 321 8533. Success Institute of Professional Studies, Ewo Kaneshi here. We have two campuses, North Kaneshi and Kaswa. Kaswa diane eda screen so no 0598 216 552. Make sure that you pick one of these numbers, give them a call. Yes, a registration fee na 100 Ghana cedis a pet by Yasate Swamau, so that you can join this coming Monday batch of students. So just 50 Ghana cedis. I'm sure you use that for data all the time. So don't complain. Fanambano nakofa form na enana peya and start your tuition Monday. And you're on your way to becoming your own boss. That is a gift we're giving you this year. Doc, that's brave. But yes, sorry, so no, your aviation, just a quick one.
Well, we are also taking students for our aviation class, and the aviation for no. We train them on passenger handling and airline customer service. So if you are interested to work at airports, you can also come in for enquiries and then also join the class, which is beginning second week in February.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Interesting. Times are changing, and we are in changing times.